Hello folks, only me. So today I'm going to be working on this 1961 NSU Quickly S. It's similar, very similar in fact, to the NSU Quickly N. It's a 2-speed, but they made the S when they spruced it up a bit, in that it gets a side stand. It has chrome rims on it, chrome wheel rims, and it had these little spats which made it look quite nice on the mud guards. The one on the back is to stop ladies' dresses getting caught up in the spokes. On the end you had little like bungee cords, but it's also, the styling's nice. And this particular bike, I sort of rebuilt it so I could use it on some of the runs a couple of years ago, and since then I've got that old 1956 N, which I prefer. It's got all the old patina on it and everything. So this is surplus to requirements, and I've got to sell it, unfortunately. I haven't got to, but it sits around taking up space in my garage, and I've got quite a few mopeds. So this one, this video, all I'm going to do is basically get it up and running, have a quick look around it. What I did buy, I bought an exhaust, nice chrome silencer, and this came with it, and it's just been sat around in my stash, and I thought, well, I don't know, it's got nice chrome, it's got a new wheel on the front, so we'll stick this on it. That'd be a little job. And I'll check the oil level, clean the points maybe, or check the gap on them, just have a little look around, get it running, and then run it up and down the road, and that should be the end of the video. And then I'll be putting it on Gumtree for sale, eBay. On eBay you can sell on a classified ad for £25, and you get 30 days on the ad. So that's probably a good way of doing it, because there's quite a lot of coverage on eBay. So that's it. So without further ado, we'll reposition the camera, and the first job I'm going to do is fit my new exhaust. Okay, so before I change the downpipe, I thought I'd better give a little walk around of the bike. It's been, all the frame and the tin work's been sandblasted and then powder coated, and it's all right. It looks nice. There's no filler on it or anything, so there are a few bits where you got, if it was corroded, or the old paint had corroded, and there's a few little pits for corrosion. That's because it's just been powder coated and no attention has been paid to filling in all the little blemishes and that. But powder coating is a good way of getting a bike looking half decent at a good price. You can spend hundreds and hundreds on getting a respray, and these bikes, they're just not worth it. A lot of people do it. It's more of a labour of love in that case. But I just bought this little bike and wanted something nice to run around on. And the times I've been out on it, people have said, "Oh, it's a sweet looking bike," And on the S, as I pointed out previously, it's got these spats which are attractive. They're like a typical 1950s sort of styling, and German styling perhaps. Nice little headlight up there. So the front wheel has got a new rim on it because the other one was really rusty, and new spokes. I've built that wheel up. Both the tyres, front and back, are got good tread, but they're not, they're budget tyres, if you like. If I was using this, I mean, I've been bombing around on this and that's fine, but if I was using it a lot, I think I probably want to put a couple of Continental tyres on there, and the proper inner tubes as well. This is just a bike inner tube, so it should have a little stem on it you can attach to the rim with the nuts. But that's what it is at the moment. I'm not going to change it. In the next day I might want to change that. The brake hub and that has been painted and what have you. It's got a lot of new cables on it. Let's have a look. Yeah, the front brake cable is new, and the speedo cable. I'm trying to remember what bits I did do on it. The engine was stripped and new bearings fitted and seals, so that should be good to go. The chrome barrel was okay. Don't remember if I put new rings on it or not, but it is what it is. I just don't remember. Got a new spark plug in there, as you can see. New air filter hose. So there's a lot of new parts on it. As we go around to the back here, this rear mud guard isn't the best one around. There's a little dent in there, you can see. But there it is. I won't keep saying it. It is what it is. Whoops, there we go again. So we go around here. I've got the original exhaust on it and a little pump, which isn't an original one. It's actually a Halfords one, but I've acetoned the Halfords off. Nice little badge there. Rear light, the wide pack rear light. And on the back here we got what I had fitted originally was this wheel. So it hasn't been rebuilt or anything. So that's the proper rim, but it has got a bit of corrosion, but it's not too bad. New chain, as I showed you before, it's got the side stand. It's got the original pedals on it. It's just been tied up a little bit. So the tank is clean inside from what I remember, otherwise I wouldn't have it fitted on there. And I've repainted that myself, fitted the stickers and what have you, and then I've coated that in fuel resistant lacquer. I don't know if you can see up here what we got up here. We've got a little switch for the lights and the horn, decompression lever, and there's your speedo. That works. So that's pretty well gone around the bike. Yeah, lovely little bikes. So I shall pop you back in the stand and we'll get that exhaust changed. There we go. So it's changed the exhaust. You undo that little bolt, which is a 9mm socket, to loosen off the clamp, and you undo the bolt here. But I've noticed with this one, this is a bit loose, so I might get away with just sliding this back. That's a homemade bracket, and this bracket here is an NSU one, but I don't think it's the correct one for the bike. But it's gripping the it's the right shape for the exhaust, although it's not gripping it that well, but it's not getting changed. So we're going to undo this little nut here, nut and bolt, and I'm hoping I can then just pull this back. So normally I just undo the bracket with the bolt that's in the back of the frame there, but I don't think I need to. It is coming off. We're yeah, I'll undo this as well, the manifold. So for that you can buy a proper spanner off NSU quickly spares, or you can get one in Germany. But I made my own up, which is just a bit of metal with the right shape on here, and I put a ratchet on it. So if I have that there, put that on there, that should be about right. There we go. If you haven't got one of these, you can, and you can see a lot of evidence on the old NSUs. Someone's just got a pair of pipe pliers on there, or even whacked them around with punches. But it's nice to have a proper C-spanner. So that's the nut that goes into the bore, into the cylinder. And now I should be able to wiggle this loose. There we go. Now there's a seal on the top here, which I need to remove. I have to look on the parts list. I'm not sure whether it's supposed to have a seal each side or not, as I can't remember. But this one's certainly fitted with one on this side. And of course the main seal is in there. I'm going to check there is one fitted. I'm not going to fit a new one, because I ain't got one. Come on. Come on, you little bugger. Oh, there's all sorts on here. A little washer as well. Okay, we'll have to get that off. Oh no, I was going to say off camera. but it is coming slowly. There we go. It's because that is actually one of the gaskets. It's made out of copper and asbestos, I think, and it crushes up with a nut. So it's got a bit deformed, and I may well have to take that off camera. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, look at that. And then I'm going to get me little. I'm going to go around the other side. Just check there's a seal in there, which there is. I can see it. That's good. Lovely. I'll just put this back as it was. He says there may be 2 seals in there. Anyway, we're going to put them back on that way, I think. Or was it the other way? I think it was that way actually. Put the nut on. That's good. Now, put up a little bit. I'm going to quickly measure on my little end down there, this measurement, because I think that was too far forward, and then put that, set that the same. So I'll get my tape measure. It's about 10 inches from the end of there to the middle of that, so this needs to come in a little bit. I may have to loosen that off. So I've got a 10mm. I'll get a 10mm spanner as well. Sorry about this, hanging about. Out of practice from doing the video. Right, let's put that on there. Right, I'll leave that loose for now. I'm going to slide in, actually I'm going to put some sealer on here. Quite often these leak, but if you put a little bit of RTV in there, that stops them leaking. So I'm going to get that as well. Right, let's just wipe that out. And a little bit of this high temperature RTV. Put a bit in there. Pop that in there. And I'm going to set up the 10 inches on from here, so that needs to go further in, which is about right. So I'll just put a bit of RTV around here. Move that up into the position where I want it. And that's more. would say that's about it. And tighten up the clamp. Using the correct end of the spanner. There we go. Get this tight as well. And just make sure we tighten this up that it's not going to hit the pedal or that little stand, little clamp for the stand. There's a little clamp down there. So I'll turn that around, I think. Put that on there. Ha, come on. Tight that is, that's got it. Got plenty of clearance for the pedal. One last little tweak. We're nearly there, so wipe that down, get the red off. And tighten up this bracket. That's good. And that does look a lot better. You notice this aftermarket pipes, it's more of 290s joined together rather than the original ones, which was a nice curve, but that's what we got. So right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to take the plug out, take this cover off, and we're going to check the points and go from there. So I'll switch you off for a sec while I tidy up my tools. Okay, back again. So let's take this plug out. Looks like a new plug. And I'm going to just check the gap on it. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's done much running with this plug. Can't really get any evidence of how it was running. Don't look too bad. So let's gap it up. Should be about 20 thou. Here we go. There we go, that's alright. So I don't think I've done much running on this bike. Well, I know I haven't done too much, so that would have been gapped when I put it in there. And I'm using an NGK B5HS, rightly or wrongly, that's what's in there. I must have looked it up on the internet. So we put that back in there. Actually, I'll leave it out because we were going to check the points gap as well. What's the matter? So when there's a screw, take the cover off. And if I now rotate the engine, and these go anti-clockwise, and there's an arrow on there anyway. Yeah, it's got a new condenser and everything looking in here. It's got new points. Yeah, they look new to me. So I'm going to rotate the engine until it's at top dead centre. There are some previous marks on it here that I've used. So it should be about there. Yeah, it's about top dead centre. Where it lines up with that, and that's the firing mark on there. So I'm going to check the gap, which should be about 12, between 8 and 12 thou. That's for the contact breakers. So if I get a 12 one, and I've got to bear in mind I've set the timing up on this as well, so I won't probably be adjusting it, but it's just to let you know the procedure really, because these were set up in the factory, and then they would mark the back plate to the crankcase. So then when you put a new set of points in and set them up the same as in the factory, the timing would be spot on. But of course over the years you get different people stripping engines, putting different bits on, me included, so you'd have to set it up on a strobe to get it right, or use a light bulb or what have you. So I know this is set up, but let's see if we can go around here. We should be able to. So that's at top dead centre. Back it back a little bit, and there's my points gap, and that actually slides in nicely. That's a nice, yeah, that's nice. That's a nice 12. So that's good. Nothing much else to look here, really. No. Pop this cover back on. Should be just one screw, but when those holes get a bit worn, people tend to put a washer in there as well. This is what's happened here. So we can screw that back on. And put the plug in and see if we've got a spark. If you can see that or not, probably not. See if I can hold that there. Let's check whether it's in the, yeah, it's in the camera shot, so we just turn that over now. I might have to pull this round. Oh. Tight. Oh, that's tight. Come on. There we go. So we'll hold that. We'll kick on down on that. See if we get a spark. I need to kick it with my feet really, but come on. All right. Well, I don't know if that sparks or not. Because I couldn't see it. Let's try it here. You probably saw it. I'm hoping you saw a spark. There was one before, so we should have one. What I need to do is pull this clutch in so I can turn this pedal around. God, bloody hell. I'm dicking about here. I think that's just gone into gear. This is not what we want. There we go. Oh dear, one of those mornings. Right. Yeah, I can see a spark, lovely spark. So we have a spark. Let's put this little bugger back in. Next thing we need is a bit of fuel. Don't think there's any in there, so I shall have to mix them up. Got my manuals there. That was just for checking the gaps and what have you, so I couldn't remember what they were. But nice little manuals you can get for these things off the internet. Some lovely old photographs in them. But there we go. I'm waffling away. Yeah, I shall get some fuel mixed up. See if we go for a fire up. Right, I found some fuel already mixed up, 3%. So let's pop that in there. And I did have a look in the fuel tank. It's actually quite clean in there. Yeah, it's good. I saw a bit of rust on the filler, and I thought, oh, but when you look in here, it's nice and clean, which is a good thing to have. Now, we'll put this in here. Pour some of this in. Should be enough, I think. Be on reserve, but yeah, we've got fuel in there. So I'll put it over onto reserve. Let it fill up the carb. And let's see, hasn't been started for ages. So, choke on. Bring these pedals round. And we're going to push the decompressor in, and that will start the engine turning nicely. And then when the pedals at about 3 o'clock, starting at 12 here, or we'll say 1. I'll release the decompression lever and hopefully she'll fire up. Might take a couple of kicks, but I'll give it a little bit of throttle, a little bit of air into the throttle. Here's the carb, I mean. And here we go. If I take it off the stand. Take it off the stand. Oh, come on, baby. It may well be that we haven't got any fuel going into the carb. But we'll give it a few more kicks. She wants to go. She wants to live. I was trying to, these little quickies, if you put the steering to one side, it often pulls the little, the cable up in the carb, and you get a better, you know, it will tick over more. It's a bit annoying sometimes. You want to get them ticking over when it's just in the middle, but sometimes you go this way and it gets up a few more revs, which is why I was trying to turn the steering over. But there's a little adjuster on the cable, because there's no stop for the slide. You have to adjust it on the cable, and it just seems it needs to be adjusted, but it's been locked up, so I'll get some spanners on that and we'll get her ticking over nicely. But yeah, that was all right. I mean, I imagine now it would start, you know, first or second kick. Right, so I've just adjusted the cable a little bit, and actually discovered that when it's in this position where it revs a little bit more. So let's start her up again. So there we go. That's all right. One thing I didn't do what I was gonna do was check the gearbox oil. So I'm sure it's fine, but it's almost like just showing you how you do it on one of these, which is easy enough. But so we'll run through that. I'll just put the camera a bit closer to the engine. Yeah, so on these little bikes, that's the drain plug to drain the transmission oil. That's the check plug for the level. And then when you refill it, if I can get around here somewhere, you take out a little screw, which is in there, and you use a little oil gun just to squirt oil in there until it starts coming out of the overflow, or the level plug, not the overflow. What am I talking about? So just to check the oil, all we need to do is undo the screw, and check we've got oil coming out of it. Yep, we've got oil. Now what you do, you're usually, and that's what's been done with this one, you put oil in the other side until it comes out of there, and then let it settle. The only reason I put the screw back when it still had oil coming out of it is because this has just all been churned up. So I don't want to lose any oil, because the level would have been done properly when I built it. So well, that's pretty well it actually. As you saw, all the lights and that work, and the horn. So next thing to do is go for a little run up the road, and then I'll be putting it on either Gumtree or eBay, or both maybe. See if we can sell the old gal. Right, well, over to the test drive. Right, so here we are, a few weeks later, because I've been that busy. Seconds for you, probably about 6 weeks for me, maybe more. But a little run up and down the road to show you she's all right. and then that's it. I don't think there's much more to say. Should start alright because it's warm. Camera girl had a little bit of trouble, didn't you, darling? Oh, she's been very quiet. Right, so get it over here. Put some fuel on. Right, so there we go. I shall join the two videos together and put them on YouTube, and I'll be putting this on eBay, Gumtree, something like that for sale, and so if you're interested, keep your eyes out. Bye for now.